It is vital for the teacher, as one of the most indispensable staff members in the education system, to foster work ethics and to be a role model in terms of human values to his or her students. Every single educator is instructed to behave ethically because there are standards of behavior that society places on them. In the modern era, Himanshu Kumar Sharma 2015 emphasizes the significance of upholding human values. The findings of the study make it clear that one of the most pressing issues facing society in this age of technological advancement is the value crisis. Educators have a crucial part to play in the process of finding solutions to these problems. According to the findings of the study, instructors should have a holistic point of view in order to develop both emotional and intellectual capabilities of their students in a way that is harmonious, thereby preserving their own human values. According to Soleimani and Necessary 2011, an employee's work ethics dictates how they conduct themselves while at their place of employment. This has a direct bearing on the relationship that the employee maintains with his employer, his fellow workers, or corporate guests. It is an essential component in the functioning of educational institutions. In educational organization, the needs for the improvement of employee satisfaction in the workplace as well as the effectiveness of educational program in teaching and learning should be given attention. It is my honor and privilege to present to you my research entitled Human Values Orientation and Work Ethics Assessment of Teaching and Non-Teaching Personnel of Trece Martires City National High School Conchu Annex during the new normal setup of school year 2021-2022. I am Hazel and F. Abarentos from SDO Cavite Province. A blessed day to all participants, my co-birth grantees, to the SEPS Planning and Research, to the Program Management Committee, to PPRD, and to the RRC. In this period of pandemic, one of the most important indicators of success in a school is an employee's capacity to apply the knowledge, skills, and values that are commensurate with the requirements of his job, satisfy the requirements of his employer, and contribute to the overall success of the institution in meeting its objectives. The people who live there and the people who work there will determine whether or not the institution has ethical standards. If the staff members' overarching objective is to cultivate the future of the students, then they will need to focus their efforts not only on the curriculum and the methods of instruction, but also on the manner in which they will present themselves to the students as having a strong commitment to high values and ethical practices. Whether or not they are consciously stated objectives, values and ethics are inextricably woven into the fabric of classroom instruction. The obvious place to begin is with the training that teachers receive, which has far implications for the students who are enrolled in their classes. Even in the new normal setup, modular distance learning, which is the new normal, the values orientation and work ethics of teachers are necessary. There hasn't been a lot of research done on the professional ethics of teachers in the Philippines. After conducting the research, the researchers were only successful in locating two previously published research articles. The first, authored by Katubi in 2017, investigated people's perception of the teaching profession and ethical practices, and the second, written by Kaslib, philosophized the nature of ethics for teachers in 2014. On the other hand, Bakar et al. In 2011 mentions that teachers' work values could be considered a factor in determining how well they perform their job. It has been shown that work values are a significant predictor of career preferences in a variety of organizations, and that there is a strong correlation between work values and work environment. As a member of the academe, And as a teacher of Trece Martires City National High School Conchu Annex, the researcher carried out this research in order to supply the institution with data pieces of information on human values orientation and work ethics of teaching and non-teaching personnel, and to enhance it in order for teaching and non-teaching personnel to become effective employees of the school, which is particularly important in the light of pandemic that is currently going on. The study determined the human values and work ethics of the teaching and non-teaching personnel of Trece Martires City National High School Conchu Annex during the new normal setup of school year 2021-2022. Specifically, the study answered the following. What are the respondents' index of human values? What are the respondents' level of work ethics? Is there a significant relationship between the respondents' index of human values and level of work ethics? Based from the results of the study, what action plan for human values and work ethics can be proposed? The main concept of this study is to determine the human values and work ethics of teaching and non-teaching personnel of Trece Martires City National High School Conchu Annex during the new normal setup of school year 2021-2022. Figure 1 is a paradigm showing the input, which is the index of human values, and level of work ethics and its significant relationship. Next is the process. It involves the preparation, which was the meeting with the respondents and gaining their acceptance of their participation in the research. The researcher kept in touch with them and asked them to participate in the research after explaining the nature and the scope of the study. In general terms, the respondents were willing to participate in the research. Then, the collection of data through questionnaire and post-analysis, which includes data interpretation, writing conclusions, recommendations, and suggestions. The output was the action plan for human values orientation and work ethics of teaching and non-teaching personnel. Burns and Grove in 2003 defined a research design as a blueprint for conducting a research with the maximum control over factors that may interfere with the validity of the findings. Polit et al. In 2001 defined a research design as the researcher's overall for answering the research question or testing the research hypothesis. This study was descriptive. Standardized questionnaire was used in the study. For the Index of Human Values, the European Social Survey or ESS Human Values Scale were used. And for the level of work ethics, the Georgia Department for Technical and Adult Education or GDTAE Work Ethic Dimension and Instrument Pool were utilized. Showed here was the survey questionnaire used in the study. The first part is the Index of Human Values, the European Social Survey or ESS Human Values Scale. It is a standardized questionnaire comprised of 21 statements designed to classify respondents to their human values orientation. The last part of the questionnaire is the GDTAE Work Ethic Dimension and Instrument Pool. It includes 39 work ethics statements to assess the relative degree of importance placed upon specific statements by the respondents. In both of these tools, respondents were asked to assess how accurately each statement reflects them on a 5-point Likert type format. In this particular study, a method of sampling that included the entire population was utilized. Purposive sampling can take a few different forms. One of these forms is called total population sampling, and it involves studying the entire population of interest. That is, a group whose members all share a given characteristic. There are a total of 25 people who participated in the survey. All of the teaching and non-teaching staff of Trece Martires City National High School Conchu Annex are included in this. The Index of Human Values as determined by the respondents, is presented in Table 1. This provides a response to the first research question. The mean was the statistical test that was used. According to the findings, both teaching and non-teaching personnel have a high human values orientation as indicated by their mean score of 1.96. As social structures, nature, and characteristics are determined, in large part, by the values that serve as its foundation. The organization's values are both an essential and an integral component of the organization. According to the findings of the research that Turk and Vincevic conducted in 2016, they came to the conclusion that teachers should not only have professional competence in their practice, but they should also demonstrate moral values serving as examples to their students. The respondents' code of professional conduct is outlined in Table 2. This portion. The mean was the statistical test that was used. According to the findings, both teaching and non-teaching personnel have a very high level of work ethics as indicated by a mean score of 1.36. As a consequence of this finding, it is absolutely necessary for instructors to uphold and model high ethical standards to their students and to serve as positive role models for them. According to Campbell in 2008, teachers respond to the events that occur on a daily basis. It would appear that teaching and ethics are inherently compatible with one another and are inextricably linked by Nikitina and Horca 2012. Work ethics form the foundation of an individual's behavior toward their work and serve as a premise upon an individual's productivity and performance at work can be evaluated by Sally in 2018. According to Table 3, there has not been a significant correlation between the respondents' index of human values and their level of work ethics. The p-value for this correlation is 0.129. Kapoor-Radhika in 2019 came to the conclusion that it is necessary to take into account human values and professional ethics. Despite the fact that there are not yet a large number of studies that support this result, the authors of this study came to this conclusion. The individuals who are employed in educational institutions need to be aware that in addition to the required educational qualifications, trainings, competencies, skills and abilities, and experience, they also need to generate awareness in terms of human values and professional ethics. This is something that they need to be able to do. For the conclusion, both teaching and non-teaching personnel have a high human values orientation. Both teaching and non-teaching personnel have a very high level of work ethics. And there has not been a significant correlation between the correspondence index of human values and their level of work ethics. According to what can be gleaned from the findings of the study, there is a need to develop a teacher training program to strengthen and sustain human values and work ethics. It is recommended, as stated on the action plan, to develop an evaluation policy that will be carried out annually as a provision for the personal and professional growth of the teaching and non-teaching personnel. The findings of the study may be supported or refuted by conducting a comparative research study of the work ethics and human values held by teaching and non-teaching personnel in other schools or districts. This research could be done in order to make recommendations for further study. This would make it possible to compare a new human values and work ethics score to the individuals who participated in this study. As a result, the researchers would be able to determine whether or not the findings of the current study are applicable to other schools or districts. It is also recommended that a longitudinal study be carried out to investigate whether or not an increase in human values or work ethics would result in improved academic performance. As a part of the response to the statement of the problem number 4, the following is the action plan that has been proposed for human values orientation and work ethics. The first step in achieving this goal is to invite human resource specialists to conduct in-school trainings and workshop on good practices for enhancing and maintaining human values and work ethics among teaching and non-teaching personnel. These trainings and workshops will take place at the school. The window opportunity is between August and September of 2022. The individuals involved are the school head, teaching and non-teaching personnel and speakers who are experts in this field. The expected outcomes include self-reflection activities, attendance, photographs, and bespoke action plan. It is anticipated that all personnel, teaching and non-teaching alike, will be capable of developing a personalized action plan on human values and work ethics for this objective. The program for the development of teachers also includes ongoing monitoring and follow-up meetings as well as conferences on either individual or group level, focusing on issues pertaining to work ethics and human values. Time frame of work will be done continuously throughout the year. Those who are accountable include the school head, member of teaching and non-teaching staff, as well as the member of the administration or HR officers. The expected outcome is going to be transparency and open line communication between the teaching staff and non-teaching staff, administration, and the school head. Staff members, both teaching and non-teaching personnel, will have the opportunity to improve both their morale and their effectiveness. The second part of the objective of the action plan is to develop a school evaluation policy that documents the well-established practice on teaching and non-teaching personnel's human values and work ethics. The time frame will be done year-round or annually. The persons involved are the school head, teaching and non-teaching personnel, or the personnel in the administration and HR officers. The expected output will be a school evaluation policy that will be carried out annually as a provision for personnel. Here are the list of references used in the study. The study presumes that understanding one's human values and work ethics is dynamic. Even though the principal concern of education is academic performance, there is simply too much convincing evidence that schools should not and cannot neglect the development of human values and work ethics training program. As Jeffrey Gitomer said, great people have great values and great ethics. Thanks and appreciation to Municipal Research Committee of Trece Martires City and Schools Division Research Committee, especially Ms. Mary Ann Romanes, Research SEPS, for her sharing of technical expertise and encouragement, ASDSS Dr. Randy Ponsalan and Sir Galileo Go, and SDS Dr. Romel Bautista for their invaluable support. That's the end of my presentation. Again, this is Hazel and F. Abarentos from SDO Cavite Province. God bless everyone.